Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with a very impressive update of Derek Lunsford. According to Derek, this update is actually 1 week old, and Derek is looking very impressive at about 14 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. And the two things that impressed me the most about this update, first was the size of the lats on Derek Lunsford. They're just absolutely crazy. And Derek's legs look pretty big, but also pretty separated at about 14 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. And I always have to mention, this video is taken at a slightly lower angle, so his lower body will look slightly bigger, upper body will look slightly smaller, but still taking nothing away from Derek Lunsford. And Derek is currently 10 pounds heavier than he was last year at 14 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. And as we all know, bigger isn't always better, but Derek is working with Honey Rambod, so I wouldn't really worry about his conditioning. And as of right now, it's very hard for me to see a scenario where Derek Lunsford doesn't place in the top 2 at the Mr. Olympia. I can't really see him slipping lower than second. Even last year, a few judges had Derek over Hottie. I think what really pushed Hottie over the top was his conditioning from the front. As we all know, Derek Lunsford is a little bit soft from the front. He's a young guy, still needs a little bit more muscle maturity. But even with that missing, a few judges had Derek over Hottie last year. And trust me, guys, I definitely read your comments. A lot of people complain Derek Lunsford needs more arm separation. He needs more chest. And I can agree with that. But even with that being said, he was the second best guy on the planet. How is he going to place this year with possibly 10 pounds more mass? Now let's switch over to a recent update from Brandon Curry. To be honest, I'm a little bit skeptical about if this update is actually recent. Nick Strength and Power said he confirmed with Brandon's coach Abdullah that this was recent, but I'm still very skeptical because Brandon is in pretty good condition once again at about 14 weeks out. But it does look like his shoulders are a little bit down in size. And prior to Brandon posting this update and also the update about him being at Oxygen Gyms, I hadn't really thought much about how he's going to place at this year's Olympia. Brandon has one of the best physiques of all time with him being a Mr. Olympia. And Brandon definitely has one of the best upper bodies of all time. But as of right now, I can't really see him placing over Hottie, Derek, Samson, or Nick. You guys can tear me apart if you disagree, but that's just my personal opinion. But if Brandon can look anything close to how he looked in 2019, I believe he can definitely shake some things up within that top 3. But I think the chances of that happening are very slim. And personally, I'm a huge Brandon Curry fan. I hope he comes in and wins the Mr. Olympia, but I just think it's very unlikely. Now let's switch over to Regan Grimes, who recently posted up an update. Regan should be about 5 or 6 weeks out from the Italy Pro, and the caption of this post said, "Grab your popcorn." And based off what I'm looking at in this update, I would definitely say that Regan Grimes has put on some size. But is his conditioning where it needs to be at about 5 weeks out from the Italy Pro? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Now there has always been high expectations on Regan Grimes. I've heard people call him the taller version of Derek Lunsford. Actually, that was his coach Milos. But Regan said grab your popcorn. He hasn't competed in a while. He's putting some really high expectations on himself going into this show. And I hope that Regan Grimes definitely lives up to them. This guy needs to be on that Mr. Olympia stage. And there is no more point system. If you don't win a show, you will not be at the Mr. Olympia. And in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Keone Pearson at just under 3 weeks out from the Texas Pro. And Keone is getting better and better each week. I honestly believe this guy beat his best look weeks ago, which is just scary for the competition. And since Keone has been in the 212 division, we've all been waiting on him to bring that crazy conditioning. Everyone has been waiting on Keone to come in 100% because a lot of us believe he can be an Olympia champion in the 212 division. And based off the updates I've been seeing from Keone this prep, I'm pretty sure he's going to bring his all-time best to the Texas Pro. Now, I'm not sure who else is competing at that show in the 212 division, but good luck to them. And I'm not really going to talk about how Keone's going to do at the Olympia. Let's let him qualify first, and then we'll speculate about that. But Keone is looking very impressive in this update. And let's switch over to Roman, Fritz, and Emir Omeragic. I know we already talked about Roman winning the big man weekend, but I wanted to share this video with you guys because it really highlights the conditioning of these two guys. I would say they are two of the most conditioned guys in the sport of bodybuilding. Emir's conditioning is just next level. Every time I see this guy compete, I can't believe it. This is not the level of conditioning that you see every day, but Emir definitely needs more size. You can showcase a lot more detail when you're a little bit smaller, taking nothing away from Emir, of course. And in the next update of the day, I wanted to briefly show you guys this update of Jay Cutler as he continues to get fit for 50. Jay is looking incredible in this update. And the last podcast I watched, I believe Jay said he was in the 230s, but looking pretty muscular and also pretty conditioned. And let's not forget about the lifelong natty, Dana Lynn Bailey. She looks pretty good too. Now let's switch over to Stephane Matala, who recently posted up an update. And I have an update for you guys. Stephane will be competing in 2 weeks at the UK Pro, and I did get that from Bodybuilders Without Borders, who is usually a very credible source. And before I get into my comments about how do I think he's going to place at this show, I really like this guy's mindset. I was just scrolling through his Instagram. Of course, I had to translate all of his captions. But this guy doesn't say, I'm going to win, I'm the best. He's a very humble guy. Prior to Portugal, he said regardless if he wins or not, he's already won. And I really like his mindset. I think it's going to be really hard for him to be competitive in Classic because he doesn't have much room to grow. Actually, he has no room to grow at all, and he's struggling to make it into the weight cap. But this guy really wants to compete in that division. I just think it's going to be hard for him to be competitive at the Mr. Olympia. Let me know what you guys think. But let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Keone from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.